All right, we're going to do our congruent angle construction here on this part of the paper. And off frame, I know you can't see it, but off to the side here, I have the notes we just finished taking, so I know what order we're doing things in. Step number 1 says draw a ray. Doesn't tell me where, doesn't tell me how long, doesn't tell me what direction. So, ray. Let's make this the end point and this the arrow. If you prefer your ray somewhere else, okay. Let's see. Second step. Draw an arc centered on the vertex of the angle. I'm just realizing that when I wrote centered on the angle. So it needs to be centered on the vertex of the angle. So go back to your notes, make sure that you wrote what I meant, not what I wrote. You want to center it on the vertex of the angle in step 2. Okay, so here's my compass. There's the vertex. Now it didn't tell me how big the radius was, so I get to pick, make it comfortable, but make it long enough for it to intersect both sides of my angle. Okay, and you want to sweep it around and make it long enough so that you can see both of those intersections. Once you've drawn this arc and using the same radius that you just used, come over to the ray that you've already drawn, center it, put the needle on the end point, and then we're going to draw another arc, but I don't know how long to make it. Make it at least long enough to be bigger than the angle. So you're going to have to guess. I think that'll do it. Notice the side of the ray that the arc is biggest on. That's the side that your angle is going to end up opening towards. I could totally have done it over here this way if I wanted to. And you can too if you want. This just happened to be the direction that was easiest for me to draw and not get in the way of you seeing what I'm doing. Everyone have something that looks like this? Yeah? Okay. Step 4. Set the compass radius to the intersections of arc and angle in step 2. These intersections. So I want the needle on one intersection, the pencil on the other. Oof. There we go. There's my length. So very carefully picking that up. Now I want to center the next arc I'm going to draw right here on this intersection point. So I'm going to very carefully set that in the intersection. And I'm going to draw another arc. And I don't care how big it is, but I want it to intersect the first arc that I drew. So as long as I can see that intersection, it's big enough. Last step. Says draw a ray from the end point of step 1, the very first end point that we put down, through this intersection that we just created. I have another angle. If I did the construction right, they should be congruent. If they're congruent, that means their measures are the same. Another word for the same? Using a mathy word? Equal. She says very quietly in the back. Equal. So, if I take my protractor and I measure each angle, I should get the same measurement. All right, let's try it. Let's see how close we got. All right, put my vertex in my finder, line up my 0, and this angle looks like it's about 49 degrees. okay? Which means this angle should be about 49 degrees also. If I did it perfectly, it's going to be exactly 49. If I messed up somehow, it's going to be a little off. And I will allow a 1 degree error in either direction. Either 1 degree smaller or 1 degree bigger, because you're still learning how to manipulate these construction tools, okay? The end of the year, it's got to be precise, but right now that we're starting, I'll allow for a little bit of an error. Okay, lined it up. You know what? That's pretty darn close. Look at that. Let me zoom in on that for you. Check that. I did pretty good. That's like between 49 and 50. All right. We'll call it close enough.